to the second evening of our seminar on the 6 Goswamis of Vrndavan. Sri Shai Goswami Prabhu Ki.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to continue on for longer. But anyway, if I try to sing, Pratik is here. Yeah, he can follow. Do you mind if we play some on you? Can you please? Thank you. And let us sing a little further. Why not? Right. Oh, thank you. Hare Krishna. May I? Well, yeah, may I have a haircut, please? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Everything is all right, Mataji? Great. Everything's okay with you? And you? And you? Everyone. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrndavan, Shri Govinda Gopinath, Madana Mohan. Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Se Goswamis Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shankun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrndavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Shri Shri Panchatattva Ki, Sankirtan Yajna Ki, ISKCON Newcastle Yatra Ki, ISKCON Sunderland Yatra Ki, ISKCON Durham Yatra Ki, Govinande. All glories to this Sama devotees. All glories to this Sama devotees. All glories to this Sama devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes, devotees, welcome to the second evening of our seminar on the six Goswamis. I apologize, last night I was a bit sort of otherwise. I think half of me was still somewhere in between Lithuania and Newcastle. Anyway, let's hope it's better tonight. So last night, we focused on particularly Srila Rupa Goswami, who is basically the leader of the six Goswamis. And now we're going on to Srila Sanatan Goswami. Nadia, how nice to see you. Hari Bol. Just relax, okay? Relax. Shayan Karo. Okay, thank you. And listen. Try and listen. Alright, so Sanatan Goswami, you know, as it happens, there is really, you could say, more biographical information, at least biographical information, about Srila Sanatan Goswami than about Srila Rupa Goswami. You might not expect that, because Rupa Goswami is the leader, but it's the case. Actually, I mean, I can say there are more stories, and there's some pretty amazing stories actually, and we'll go through some number of them here. Yes, we will, but before we do that, devotees of the Lord, let us recite the dedication. Yes, the dedication. If you know it, well, we can do it responsively. All right, if you know it. If you don't know it, you should know it. If you don't know it, you should learn it. All right. Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipano Sadharma Samstapako.
Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipano Sadharma Samstapako. Lokanam
Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanya Karo. Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyaga Sri Jiva Gopalaka.
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 I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they're absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Sri Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki. Right, so let's have a look here. Here we go. So we mentioned last night how Sanatana Goswami was 5 years older than Rupa Goswami, and then the youngest, although I haven't made a note of how much younger he was, but the youngest was Vallabha, also known as Anupam, who was actually the father of Srila Jiva Goswami. So they were all born in Bangladesh, Jessore area, which I've never been to. I don't even know where it is actually, but I mean, other than being in Jessore, in Bangladesh. So, but then after some time, when Sanatan and Rupa were engaged by the Nawab Hussain Shah, as we did mention last night, then they moved to Ramakeli. Ramakeli is in northern West Bengal. Northern West Bengal. So they're brought up in a Vaishnava family. And, there's not a lot of information really about the father, the mother, these people, but they were Vaishnavas. And they trained Rupa and Sanatan and Vallabha to be devotees. So they were very dedicated devotees as children. And there's a nice description, just a very brief description of how one night when Srila Sanatana Goswami was still very young, a boy, like school age or something like that, Sanatana Goswami had a very unusual dream. In his dream, he saw a Brahmin devotee, and the Brahmin devotee approached him and gave him a Srimad Bhagavatam. And in his dream, Sanatana Goswami found his hairs was standing up in ecstasy. And right at that point when he's just in a mood of tremendous ecstasy, he woke up. His dream broke, he woke up. And he saw that the Brahman and the Bhagavatam were not there. Of course, because it was just a dream. So, not seeing them, Sanatan became depressed and disappointed, really. But then the next morning, after he had bathed, while he was sitting and worshipping the household deity, then, would you believe, that Brahman came, and standing by Sanatan, he handed the Bhagavatam to him, saying, "Take this Bhagavat, always study it, and all perfection will be yours." So saying this, the Brahmin handed over the Bhagavatam and then went away. So Sanatan, on receiving this great treasure of the Holy Bhagavat, Sanatan's ecstasy just knew no bounds at all. And from that day on, Sanatan would only study Srimad Bhagavatam, leaving aside all other scriptures. Because he knew that the Bhagavatam is the essence of all the scriptures. So Sanatan Goswami, we mentioned last night, he wasn't as prolific in his writing as Srila Rupa Goswami, or particularly Srila Jiva Goswami, but he certainly wrote some very important literatures. And one literature which he wrote, and which actually the BBT has printed, Brihad Bhagavatamrita is there, of course, but another one is called Krishna Leela Stava. And it's very beautiful, as the name suggests. It's about Krishna's pastimes. Yeah. But there is a sequence of verses in that Krishna Leela Stava which are glorifications of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Sanatana Goswami's appreciations of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's about 5 or 6 verses. Krishna Leela Stava, beginning with verse 412 and finishing with 416. Let us sing, it was so formative and foundational in his life, Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's just read these glorifications. So verse 412. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Sat Pala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Drik Prada. Translation. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you, Srimad Bhagavatam, are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabhu, Kali Dvanto Jataditya, Sri Krishna Parivartata. O life heir of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of the age of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Premavarsh Yaksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Sri Krishnaya Namostute. I bow down to you, who is supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Mad ekabandho mat sangin, mad guru man mahadana, man nishtaraka mad bhagya, mad ananda namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, Srimad Bhagavatam, I bow down to you. And the last of these verses, Asadu saduta dayin, Ati nicho chatakara, Hana muncha kadachin mam, Premna hrit kantayo spura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. So those are verses 412 to 416 of Krishna Leela Stava, if you want to look them up at some time. Really beautiful verses of appreciation. Great, great appreciation for Srimad Bhagavatam. And we did mention last night that amongst the books of Sanatana Goswami, well, there's that Krishna Leela Stava, but then there's Hari Bhakti Vilas, which we talked about a little last night as rules and regulations, do's and do nots for devotees, very detailed. And an interesting point, it said that Srila Sanatana Goswami began that compilation, but he didn't exactly complete it. He didn't exactly finish it as he would have liked to. And he didn't really sort of edit it and structure it like in sequence and like a flow of information as he wanted to. So in fact, later on, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, another one of the 6 Goswamis, he took over that work of ordering the presentation of Hari Bhakti Vilas and just sort of editing it and restructuring it and so on like that. So that then there's Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is available from the BBT. I don't know, but it may be available from the bookshop here if you don't have a copy or a set, 3 books. And that is an incredible literature. by Sanatana Goswami in two parts. The first part is the story of Narada Muni trying to identify who amongst all the devotees, who is the one, or which is the group, you could say also, but who is the one who has really received the greatest mercy from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Interesting perspective. Not exactly like who is the greatest devotee, although it kind of ends up at that point, but the particular specific context is who has got the most mercy. And we find that Narada Muni, he is traveling around trying to locate that person, and he meets one person after the other, and he meets quite a number of people, and beginning with one king from South India who's a great devotee. Anyway, one very interesting part of the whole presentation of Srimad Bhagavatamrita is that Sanatana Goswami is going around meeting this devotee, and then that devotee, and then another devotee. And each devotee, when Narada Muni says, it's you have received the greatest amount of mercy of the Lord, or the Lord's supreme mercy. It's you. But then that one responds, no, I haven't. No, I haven't. Actually, I haven't got any mercy. I haven't got any mercy at all from the Supreme Lord for this reason and that reason and other reasons. Just as Narada Muni said, you're the one who's got the Supreme Mercy for this reason and that reason. So the person then says, no, I haven't for this reason and some other reason like that. So anyway, it's a long story, but the one or ones who got the Supreme Mercy are the gopis of Vrndavan. That's the first part, which is it's about approximately 1/3 of the whole book. Then the second part, which is 2/3 of the whole book, is the story of a devotee named Gopakumar and how he goes back to Godhead, which, is quite a long story. Going here and there and other different places and finally going back to Godhead, or back to Vrndavan. Yes, and so these are just amazing literatures. Then there's a number of other literatures Sanatana Goswami wrote, but one other which is very well known and is really very amazing. Sanatana Goswami has done a commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very, very deep. It's very amazing, actually. Yes, okay. So anyway, yesterday, well, we just mentioned actually at the beginning how they moved from Jessore or somewhere in Bangladesh, they moved to Ramakeli, which at the time was the capital of the kingdom or the region of Bengal, including current-day Bangladesh and northern Orissa, because Rupa and Sanatan, they got engaged by Nawab Hussain Shah, we talked about that last night, by force, because they were exceptionally brilliant. So he engaged them, Rupa Goswami as his private secretary come treasurer, and Sanatana Goswami as the Prime Minister, the main organizer, and administrator, and the main problem solver. So we find that as we go through these different pastimes of Sanatana Goswami's, at least some of them we'll see how he exhibits amazing brilliance at solving problems and sorting things out for people, for devotees. It's really quite something. So there they were, administering the governmental affairs, etc., of the Muslim state of Bengal and northern Orissa. But after a while, they met Lord Chaitanya. We discussed that at some length last night, how they met Lord Chaitanya, who then initiated them and gave them the names, actually, Rupa and Sanatan. So after they met Lord Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya told them that they expressed, when they met Lord Chaitanya, they expressed they wanted to come with him. But Lord Chaitanya, knowing very well their very responsible duties in the Muslim government, Lord Chaitanya told them not to leave their service yet. Krishna would arrange it sooner or later, Lord Chaitanya said. And particularly Lord Chaitanya told them, he gave them a very interesting example to illustrate how they should operate, how they should work, and maintain their Krishna consciousness along with working for the government, Muslim government. So Lord Chaitanya gave a very interesting example. It's good you're all sitting down, because fasten your seatbelts if you've got one. Lord Chaitanya gave the example of a married woman who has a boyfriend. We hope none of you married ladies have boyfriends. Hare Krishna, excuse me. But that's the example Lord Chaitanya gave. That you should be like a married woman who has a boyfriend. But, of course, she doesn't want her husband to know. So therefore, what she does her household duties just perfectly, absolutely perfectly. So the husband, what to speak of not suspecting that anything is going on there. The husband thinks, I've got the best wife in the world. She is just amazing. The way she takes care of everything and of me, and just sure, I have the best wife in the world. But actually, in her heart, in her mind, that married lady is just thinking of her boyfriend and not of her husband. And it's just, sort of very superficially, she appears to be so dedicated and devoted to him. So that's what they did. They really did their duties extremely well for a while. Then after a while, it got too much, and they decided That's it. We've had enough. So, as devotees often do, they reported in sick leave. Yes, we're too sick to do our work, running the government and everything. We're too sick, sorry about that. We have to take a break. So they took a break for some time. And the Nawab, because they're dealing directly with the Nawab himself, the Nawab saw, supposedly they're so sick, but they're not getting better. Normally, people get sick, everyone gets sick, but then everyone gets better. These two are not getting better, and it's like 3 months has passed, and they're still too sick to do their work. So the Nawab himself came to find out what's going on. And sure enough, they were not sick. They were fine. Or as we say, they were sort of sick. They were just sick of working. Yeah. So rather what they were doing, they were studying Srimad Bhagavatam with some devotee pundits. And, they were very happy doing that. So the Nawab got extremely angry. And he had them arrested. Somehow or other, Rupa Goswami escaped quite quickly and just went. Yeah. Sanatana Goswami didn't. He got locked up in the prison. And I've never been there actually, but the prison still exists. It's still there in current day, modern day Ramakeli. Yes. As is Radhakund, Shavakund, and places like this. So he got locked up. And however, what happened was that when Rupa Goswami escaped, he left some money with a local businessman, because in those days they didn't have banks. So he left a whole collection of gold coins with one local businessman. And somehow, anyway, the businessman and Sanatana, they were interacting, even though Sanatana was in prison. And the jailer, like the jail keeper, chief security man, he was a very simple, but very, heavy Muslim, but a very simple man. So one day, Sanatana Goswami said to this very sort of simple and gullible, but very staunch Muslim jail keeper, he said, I've been thinking about things, and I've come to the conclusion I want to dedicate myself to Allah and go to Mecca. That's what I want to do, and just stay in Mecca for the rest of my life. But I'm locked up now. If you can help me get out, I will give you a whole lot of these gold coins. Yeah. And all you have to do is, when they ask what happened to Sanatana, all you have to do is tell them that you took me down to the river to bathe and pass stool and everything, and I just jumped in and got swept away by the Ganges and died. That's all. And you keep all these gold coins, which was a lot, like a few $1 million worth, at least. So, yeah, and then I'll just go to Mecca and make my life successful. How does that sound? Who wants to come with us to Mecca? No volunteers. Gorangi? Not at the moment. Okay. So anyway, Sanatan made his escape. But he still had 8 gold coins. So they had to cross a kind of mountainous area. Well, what he wanted to do was go and meet Lord Chaitanya. He had heard Lord Chaitanya is on his way to Vrndavan again. And maybe he's in Vrndavan. Yeah, the second time Lord Chaitanya tried to go to Vrndavan, he actually made it. So he wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya either on the road or meet him in Vrndavan. But he had to cross over a sort of mountainous or hilly area somewhere in between. So he went with his servant Ishan. And Ishan was keeping, what happened? Ishan was keeping, there was I think 8 gold coins left over, and I got it right? 8? So they had to stay overnight in a sort of a guest house on the way. And the guest house owner had a, what would you say, like a mystical Brahmin associate who told him, this fellow has gold coins. Yeah. Ishan actually had the gold coins. Sanatan thought that they had all gone. So, Sanatan Goswami, because he was expert at interpersonal dealings, he saw that the guest house owner was treating them extremely nicely. Extremely nicely. So Sanatan Goswami understood. He's plotting to have us killed because we have gold coins. So he told Isha, you've got gold coins, haven't you? Some of those gold coins. Give them to me. So Sanatan handed them over to the guest house owner so they were not killed. Yes. Anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, Sanatan Goswami, he's so expert in understanding how people are thinking by just watching their activities. Because the actions of the body, they're just reflections of the state of mind. Yeah. So thereby he understood that this man knows that one of us has money. Yeah. So anyway, the guest house keeper took the money and didn't kill the man. He told him, yes, well, I was going to kill you. Have you killed? But now I'll give you a guide to take you through the mountains. So they went through this hilly area and he got to meet Lord Chaitanya in, what was it? Varanasi. Varanasi is before Prayag or after Prayag, geographically. There's like 20 kilometers in between them. Varanasi is after. So, okay. So Sanatan Goswami met Lord Chaitanya in Varanasi. In Varanasi, that's right. at Chandrasekhar's house. That in itself is a really, wow, amazing pastime. This meeting of Sanatana Goswami with Lord Chaitanya after having, escaped and got through all the mountains and everything. If you want to look it up, you can find it in Madhya Lila chapter 20. Yeah. Right. So anyway, Sanatana Goswami, because he's been working for the Muslims, and he adopted the dress, the ways of dressing, and just like the ways of sort of presenting oneself of the Muslims. And what devotees, you're all very culturally aware, what is one of the most surefire ways of understanding whether someone, a man at least, is a Muslim or a Hindu? The Muslim will have a beard, but no moustache. Yes. And the Hindu will have a moustache, but no beard. This is very standard practice. Yeah. So Sanatana Goswami had a beard and no moustache, because, he was living with the Muslims and sort of outwardly kind of as a Muslim, and he was dressed as the Muslim men were dressed. They have their own styles to some degree. And he came and sat outside the front door of Chandrasekhar Acharya in Varanasi. So outside, just, in the sort of the courtyard or whatever, in front of the house of Chandrasekhar, Lord Chaitanya and Chandrasekhar were inside the house. And Lord Chaitanya said to Chandrasekhar, there's a devotee outside your front door. Can you please call him in? So, going outside, Chandrasekhar looked around, couldn't see a devotee. All he could see was this Muslim, a sort of Muslim, kind of unkempt, because he'd been traveling for some days, and, his clothes were all kind of messed up and so on like that. This unkempt-looking Muslim mendicant fellow. So Chandrasekhar looked around and there's no devotee here. And he came back and said, no, my Lord, there's no Vaishnava outside. So Lord Chaitanya said, is there anyone outside your house? And Chandrasekhar said, well, there's just one Muslim mendicant. And Lord Chaitanya said, Lord Chaitanya told him, please bring him here. So then Chandrasekhar went out and said to Sanatana Goswami, "O Muslim mendicant, please come in. The Lord is calling for you." So Sanatana Goswami went in. As soon as he went in, as soon as Lord Chaitanya saw Sanatana Goswami, he jumped up, went to him, and embraced him very, very, very strongly. And then Lord Chaitanya just became totally overwhelmed with ecstatic love, great symptoms of transcendental ecstasy and love of God. And Sanatana also became overwhelmed. But then Sanatana, in a faltering voice, said, "My Lord, don't touch me. Please don't touch me." Then they both cried cried and cried and cried. And Lord Chaitanya took Sanatana Goswami into the house and made him sit on an elevated seat next to him, to Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya began cleansing the body of Sanatana Goswami with his transcendental hands. Chandrasekhar was just too astonished to see all of this. But Sanatana Goswami just repeatedly said, "My Lord, please do not touch me. Please do not touch me." But Lord Chaitanya replied, "I am touching you just to purify myself. Because by the power of your devotional service, you can purify the whole universe." So after that meeting, Lord Chaitanya, there at Varanasi, instructed Sanatana Goswami in depth in Krishna consciousness. And if you look in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, from chapter 20 to chapter 25, like 5 or chapter 4, 24 or 25, let me just check. But anyway, from 20 to 24 or 25, 20 to 24 actually, Lord Chaitanya instructed Sanatana Goswami. And those instructions, particularly chapter 22, but actually all of those chapters, they're the most in-depth instructions of Lord Chaitanya that were ever recorded. You know, the only thing that he personally spoke, you know, like a sort of, not a book, but just a little presentation, was Shikshastika. But in terms of in-depth philosophical descriptions, these 5 chapters of Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Sanatana Goswami, they're the most in-depth, detailed instructions that Lord Chaitanya gave, which were recorded. And then actually, Lord Chaitanya, because Rupa Goswami had escaped earlier and wanted to do the same thing, go down onto the road going from Bengal to Vrndavan, and then walk up to Vrndavan and either meet Lord Chaitanya as he comes down, or maybe meet him if he's still in Vrndavan. That was his idea. But Lord Chaitanya had already left Vrndavan. So Rupa Goswami met Lord Chaitanya in Prayag, which is approximately 25 kilometers or something before Varanasi, just before Varanasi. And Lord Chaitanya instructed Srila Rupa Goswami there in Prayag. And that is, those instructions of Lord Chaitanya to Rupa Goswami are there in Madhya Lila chapter 19. But it's just one chapter. Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Sanatana Goswami, to Rupa Goswami, but his instructions to Sanatana Goswami from chapter 20 to chapter 24, really in depth. It's quite amazing. Particularly chapter 22 is the basis of at least, well, anyway, it's sort of the basis of Nectar of Devotion, actually. And then in that chapter 22, I think, in one of those chapters, there's very interesting exchange between Lord Chaitanya and Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami, of course, he knows Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he also knows that Lord Chaitanya is very, pointedly covering the fact that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not admitting it. And if sometimes people would understand and say, aha, I see, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Chaitanya would block his ears and call out, Vishnu, Vishnu. It's a traditional sort of response. If people glorify you too much in sort of Vedic culture or Krishna conscious Vedic culture, you block your ears and you say, Vishnu, Vishnu. Remember that, it may come in handy sometime in the future. So, but Sanatana Goswami, he understood the truth. And he wanted to, through having a discussion in one way or another, he wanted to bring Lord Chaitanya to the point where he would admit, all right, I'm the Supreme Lord. Because Sanatana Goswami was so expert in talking to people and, getting people to do things when they don't want to do those things. That sort of thing. The saying, there's a famous bumper sticker, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Bumper sticker on a motor car. It says, a diplomat is a person who can tell someone to go to hell. If you tell someone to go to hell, it's like it's really nasty. But a diplomat is someone who can tell another person to go to hell, but in such a nice way, they look forward to the journey. Sanatana Goswami, he could do like that. He could convince people to do things they really, thought they would never do, but he would get them to do them. So he wanted to do that with Lord Chaitanya. So they're having a discussion about the avatars. The avatars. And of course, Sanatana Goswami knows that Lord Chaitanya is not exactly an avatar. He's the avataree. He's the source of the avatars, but he's taken the role of the Yuga avatar, who is usually a golden form of Lord Vishnu, who teaches the chanting of the holy names of Vishnu as the Yuga Dharma. So anyway, Sanatana Goswami understood everything. So they're talking. And Sanatana Goswami says, now they're talking about the Yuga avatars. There's 6 types of avatars. I will not test you to find out if you know the 6. But there's 6. And one type is the Yuga avatars. So Sanatana Goswami says, I've heard about the Yuga. There's a type of avatar known as Yuga avatar. And Lord Chaitanya says, yes. And Sanatana Goswami says, I've heard that in such a Yuga, there is a Yuga avatar. And Lord Chaitanya says, yes, that's right. And explains some things about the Satya Yuga avatar. And then Sanatana says, and you know what? I've heard that in Treta Yuga, there's also a Yuga avatar. And Lord Chaitanya says, yes, and talks about the Yuga avatar for Treta Yuga. And Sanatana Goswami says, and you know, I've also heard there's a Yuga avatar for Treta, for Dwapara Yuga. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, and talks about that Yuga avatar. And then Sanatana Goswami says, and you know what? I've actually heard there's a Yuga avatar for Kali Yuga. And Lord Chaitanya says, yes, of course. And Sanatana says, I've heard that Yuga avatar for Kali Yuga, he's golden in color. And Lord Chaitanya says, yes, you're right. And Sanatana says, and I've heard he spreads the chanting of the holy names. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, you're right. And Sanatana Goswami said, and I've heard he appears with his associates and has pastimes with his associates. And Lord Chaitanya said, Sanatana, stop your clever questions. And let me tell you about the Shakyavesh avatars. This is, in the science of argument, like debate, that sort of thing. There is a strategy. If you are losing an argument, a debate, then what do you do? What can you do? Change the subject. Yes. And hopefully that will derail the other person's thinking and you may win the debate even though you were losing. So that's what Lord Chaitanya, what Lord Chaitanya did, yeah. It's actually in chapter 20 of Madhya Lila. So anyway, like this, they met there in Varanasi, and then Lord Chaitanya sent him, as he had done with Rupa, sent him to Vrndavan, but told him, after some time, come and join me in Puri, because the Lord is now on his way back. He met Rupa in Prayag, now Sanatana in Varanasi, and Puri is further down that way. So, right. So after some time, Sanatana Goswami is staying in Vrndavan, but after some time, he got word Lord Chaitanya wanted him to come and meet him in Puri. So Sanatana Goswami basically ran all the way to Puri, which, talk about a marathon. That's a couple of 1,000 kilometers. But he ran and just neglected his physical health. He just wanted to get there to be with Lord Chaitanya in Puri. As a result of being sort of negligent about his physical condition, Sanatana Goswami somehow, he was bathing in whatever water he could find. And sometimes it was contaminated water. So he developed a skin condition. Sounds like, something horrible. Like, if you know what psoriasis is like. You know what psoriasis is like? The people get these open sores which ooze. And Sanatana Goswami's skin was in that sort of condition. It was really bad. It was really very bad. Eventually he made it to Jagannath Puri, but his health, his skin condition would not go away. And it was, it was very embarrassing, but it was very painful and just, it's like very sort of dirty condition. Horrible, horrible condition. So Sanatana Goswami, within his mind, actually Lord Chaitanya, when he arrived, Sanatana arrived, Lord Chaitanya told him, go and stay with Haridas Thakur. If you know where Haridas Thakur's place is in Jagannath Puri, you know where it is? You haven't been there. You know where it is? You know where it is? You've been there. Anyway, it's not far, it's close to where the Gambhira, where Lord Chaitanya would stay. It's really quite close. So that the two of them were staying there because on one hand, Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, although he's a great devotee, but the people knew he was from a Muslim background, so he wasn't allowed to enter the Jagannath temple. And Sanatana is born in a Brahmin family, but he had been, very connected to the Muslims. So maybe he could have got in, but he decided not to go in, to stay out. So the two of them stayed together. They're sort of in the same type of situation to some degree in a social sense. So they're staying there. And yes, devotees, you know what happened? I tell you what, devotees, tune in tomorrow night and find out what happened. Because I tell you what, wow, amazing, just amazing what happened between Sanatana Goswami and Lord Chaitanya. It's really amazing. So we will continue with Sanatana Goswami tomorrow. And there's all sorts of more things to say about Sanatana Goswami. Hare Krishna. Srila Sanatana Goswami Ki.